So I've just finished watching a video by my friend the OffGrid NorseMan, and he's just made a particularly rousing speech, and he's really laid out a big part of the problem. Why, you know, the common cause that me and he share that's kind of put us on this kind of the off-grid thing, but also that anti-system thing. I don't want to call it an anti-system thing. I don't think it is for him. We just want to be left alone, really. And although his approach and my approach are very different, well, let me play the speech for you, and then you'll see what I mean. So,
I've been thinking about it quite obviously intensely, because it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to process. Change, you know, making changes and making final decisions. And I have my doubts, as I've already expressed, and times get really hard sometimes, and sometimes I feel this just is too hard. It's too hard, and I can't do this. And then I think about, look how far I've come, and look at where I am now. And I said back November that this was going to be hard and I wouldn't be able to do it several times, and I'm still here. I mean, I've got nowhere to go. And with this whole National Park Authority thing going on, just giving me more and more reason to stand here and say, do you know what, fuck you. How dare you say that I am a influence to the environment in a negative way when you're selling off fucking woodland, you're fracking, you're producing no evidence at all to say you're even doing the job you're saying you're doing, which is protecting our national parks. You're just bullying local people. You've got this name, authority, and you walk around with titles like enforcement officers. It's a fucking joke. Nobody needs that shit. Nobody wants it. It's just another corporation. It's just another profit-making scheme. And I'm fucking sick of it. And it really fucking annoys me. And that's why I'm here. That's why I started this. I started this because I'm fucking sick of being told I can't do what I want to do on my land. I'm doing no fucking harm. I'm not hurting anybody. I have the right to do this. I have the right to be here, and I have the right to fucking leave without the risk of losing all my possessions because the council or the National Park Authority believe I need planning permission for freestanding parasols and a stack of fucking pallets, and I need to pay for my privilege to use my land. It's horse shit. And that's why I'm here. And not just that. For all people out there that have suffered at the hands of national park authorities and fucking councils, who just have this vendetta against these people who want to live low impact alternative lifestyles, off-grid, self-sufficient. There's no alternative. It's their way or no way. And that fucking annoys me. For people like Kate Burrows, you know? That's why I'm here. Because they shouldn't have been bullied off their fucking land. They shouldn't have been bullied into fucking giving up. They should have been left the fuck alone to do what they fucking want. They were doing no fucking harm. I'm doing no fucking harm. They don't fucking like it. And it fucking annoys me. Because these people are parasites. Sucking the life from the earth that we live on, the earth that we've inherited and that we inhabit, that we have to leave behind for future generations. They're just sucking the life out of it. Parasites. I don't know if camp made me feel happier or more joy-filled, but it's definitely given me more passion to fucking stick this out. Because I'm fucking done with the fuckery. When I started this journey, over 5 years ago, I said that it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be hard, but what I thought was going to be hard was, you know, growing plants, cutting trees, setting up an off-grid life. I mean, back then, the hardest thing that I had to do was try and get the caravan on in here. And once we'd done that, we thought our troubles were over, but realistically, that's when the troubles fucking began. And it's been an uphill struggle the entire way. With lots of stumbling, and lots of doubts, and lots of fear. But I still stand by it. I can do this. It can be done. It can be done. And with a united, utilised community of people with the same goal and the same drive, with the same passion, we can overcome. And we shall overcome, because if we don't, we're just surrendering everything that we need to survive to corporations for greed and profit. We need the water, we need the air, we need food, we need these things to live. And while they keep having things to gain from this, they're just going to keep fucking us over.
He's just had a camp. He's just had the 1 year anniversary camp of being on his land, and to my shame, I wasn't there because I travel everywhere by bicycle. I made it halfway, stayed the night in a friend's place, and then the next day it was really raining, so I kind of pussied out and I just came back this way and went back to work the next day. So I wasn't there in body, but I was there in spirit, and I've just watched all 3 of his videos that he made from that weekend, and I was like, damn, I really should have been there. There wasn't a very good turnout. There was a lot of people who had issues getting down there. There was 1 or 2 illnesses that prevented people from attending, but you know, my excuse was just I'm on the bike and it was raining. So, but his story is very different to mine. The main reason his is different is he's been doing his thing a lot longer. He said 5 years in that video. I think that's how long he's owned his little acre of woodland, and he's in the New Forest. And he has this organisation, the National Park Authority, who make life difficult for him, or have made life difficult for him in the past. The difference with me is I don't own the land I'm on. I'm just here in the same capacity as a squirrel or a mouse or a badger, some other kind of woodland animal that's just gone, hey, I like this spot, I'm going to start digging, I'm going to make my home here. And as a result, I have to keep mine completely stealth. But yeah, there's a host of reasons why people like Dan and myself do this kind of thing. And one of the reasons for me was just thinking, yeah, I completely resonate with Dan's sentiments with regards to authorities. The authorities are just there, they just exist. They kind of justify their own existence, they make work for themselves. But this National Park Authority, it's that word authority. When you give yourself the title officer, it sort of means these are people who are going to make trouble for you if you don't just agree and go along and pay the fines and pay for the licenses to do whatever it is you want to do. So, like he says, for a parasol, for a sun umbrella, for garden gnomes, things like that he got in trouble for in the past, it's ridiculous. But thankfully he is strong and he is still there, and I fully support him. Alright, I was not there this weekend, but I've been there a lot in the past, and I have helped Dan out with his various projects. So my heart goes out to you, brother, and I'm there in spirit. Let me talk about this now. Part of the reason I'm here is because a friend of mine confronted me with this knowledge, this information. He said, look, what is the point of voting? And even then I wasn't voting, I'd stopped voting. I would say given up. Given up's not the right word. It's like there's a difference between giving up and deliberately saying I'm not going to comply with this, I'm not going to comply with the system anymore. But they were kind of saying, alright, so you know that the system is rigged, it's built the way it is, it's designed the way it is, and you go, yeah, okay, so what do I do? And he's like, but you're still paying, right? You're still paying tax. And this friend of mine, his name was Chris, he's always been the Morpheus to my Neo. He really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was ready for it, right? I didn't learn these things until I was absolutely ready. It's like, how can you pay tax when you know that they're using that money for, not just the fact that they're squandering that money, but they're using it for nefarious purposes. If you know that any of the money you are providing to anyone, doesn't matter if it's a government with tax or anyone, if you know that they're using it for terrorism, there are international laws in effect that would hold up in court, that would serve as a defence in court, that say you are committing an offence if you supply that money. If you supply that money and you know it's being used for terrorism, whatever they define terrorism as. And personally, I think we can define terrorism as terrorising innocent people in their own lands, and I think that's what the Royal British Navy does. I think that's what the Royal Air Force does, and I think that's what the British Army does. Is terrorist operations. They say they're out there making the world a safer place, but there's this classic graphic, and it's it's a map of Iran, and it's where the military bases are surrounding Iran, and it's like, who's really threatening who here? Right? Who are the terrorists? Who really are the terrorists? So that alone is enough of a reason to stop paying tax. And you can write to these people, and well, they write to you and they say, right, you need to submit a tax return. You give them a notice of conditional acceptance, which means you're not refusing. You're not refusing. And what you do is you just ask them, where is this money going? What's it being used for? They'll give you an itemised bill, and then you say, right, well, I don't agree with this, so I'm not going to fund this. And that's something I did. I think it was 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, and for a little while they will send you a flurry of intimidating letters, and they'll just put big numbers on it, like, oh, we're going to fine you, we're going to fine you, we're going to fine you, and the numbers get bigger and bigger, and it's like you hold your nerve, and eventually there's nothing. No bailiffs, no debt collectors, no nothing. Just an automated computer printout that comes every few months and says you've got to submit a tax return by whatever date, and you just ignore it. Because if a human, this is the thing, if a human being writes to me, I'll write back to that human being. And they don't chase you, because there are so many people doing this. There are so many people who've realised the truth. Another thing, right? It's not just the military. It's the insanity of the money system, how the money system operates. It's debt slavery. We are all in debt slavery, and I know we can look around the world and say, well, it could be worse, we could be like them. It's not enough. It wasn't enough for me to look around and go, hey, I'm doing all right. I need to do something, and voting wasn't cutting it. Protesting, signing petitions doesn't do a fucking thing, guys, because it doesn't change the people who are really running the show. The Bank of England is a scam. It via the Treasury, they bankroll the government, whoever's in power. What the government is using as collateral to borrow that money is your future labour, your work, and you need to take yourself out of that system. Otherwise, you're supporting the corruption. You're giving consent to the corruption, and that's what it's all about: consent. I do not consent to this insane system. It is very sick, and they will always try to normalise it, especially if you're into the mainstream media. Try to make you imagine that this is the only way it can be, but it's not the case. So the next thing for me, after like not paying tax, writing to the HMRC, a notice of conditional acceptance, that is a very easy thing to do. You can look that up online, they'll tell you exactly how to do it. So I came out here to the woods where I don't need to go any further with that. I'm out here, I don't even have an address, there's nothing they can do to me. I don't use the legal name that I was given at birth with the signing of that birth certificate by my father. I don't use that name anymore, that's not who I am. When you realise you're not that all caps name, you're not Mr, you're not Mrs, that's not part of my name. My parents never called me Mr whoever I am on that birth certificate. That's something that was added when that birth certificate was created, and I went into that system. And I use that fake name when it suits me, okay? Which is consenting to the insanity. I use it when I want to leave the country. I've got to use that passport with Mr. So-and-so on it. And I will pretend to be that individual. I look exactly the same as him. There's a picture of him in that passport, but that ain't me. This is me. This is me. So a lot of crazy stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to echo Dan's words, say I'm fully in support of this guy. Check out his channel. I'll put a bunch of links in the description box below, including the link to his original video. And when you go there, you'll be able to find all his links. If you're interested in learning about his project, you should be. It's really taken off. What he's doing is going from strength to strength out there. So yeah, I'll see you real soon, Dan. Everybody else, just take care. Keep an open mind, alright? Don't settle for the mainstream explanation of how things are, because when you look a little bit deeper, you will see there's a lot more to it.
I've got nowhere to go. They can't seem to be able to move me. We'll push on. We'll push on and we'll fight another day. We will fight another fucking day. And if you want to support this and if you want to get involved, then there are links below. There are links below And even if you can't support me by being here, or you're not in a financial state to donate, I can completely understand that from my position. More than anyone, I can appreciate that. But just giving me that like, hitting subscribe, or even just sharing my story, that can sometimes be more than sufficient for what we're trying to do here. We need to let our voices be heard. We need to shout loud, and we need to be firm with it. Persistent. We need to be persistent, and we will persevere. But as I say, the weather is crap. It's coming down. I'm done for this day, but I'm not done with this project or protest. Yeah. Let's do this. We can do this. We can do this. Thanks for watching, guys. Love and peace. And stay strong. Stay strong and keep your eyes open to the fuckery. Always. Always. We are one. We are one.